Okay, Amethyst Control. This deck really surprised me, and a lot of people talk about it at the moment. There's a lot of controversies I've seen if people think it's necessarily a good deck. That's what we're going to find out in this video. But yeah, it really surprised me. There's lots of fantastic cards in this deck, and it just works. If you watch the Sapphire Ramp video, which I did a couple of days ago, I played against it, and it felt super oppressive, and there was nothing I really could have done against it. And so I thought I'd give my own spin on it and see kind of what I think. If you're not used to these type of videos, this is the contents of the video. If you're interested in any of this in specific, or you just want to click around, here's the timestamps. So these are the key cards of the deck. Every card in the deck itself, I would say, is like a key card, but these are the ones that I just wanted to quickly talk about and just give you a bit more detail. So first off, we've got all the card draw cards. That includes the 3-cost Maleficent, the Queen, and Friends on the other side. Card draw is just fantastic in this game, and being able to just draw cards constantly throughout the game is just such a fantastic, powerful effect that you should have when you play purple specifically. I've purposely put Magic Mirror to the side of this. Magic Mirror is a card that I don't see anyone playing. It's so good. It costs 2 and it's uninkable, which sucks. But later on, when you're not really doing much when you're playing Control, instead of passing, just getting an extra card or 2 extra cards if you've got 2 on the field is so strong. And it also buffs up your Jafar, which is in the list too. So yeah, and then we've got Gaston and Maui. These 2 cards are great, but Reckless is not a bad keyword because the cards that have Reckless have such good stats that it's hard to pass up on, especially when you're playing Control. You kind of just want to get to your late game. So Gaston is fantastic. It's got 4-2 stat line, and that can really easily beat over Simbas on turn 2. It deals with Cusco quite well, and same for Maui. Maui's got Rush as well, which makes the card even better. 6-5 stat line, which is huge. Maui just really saves games a lot of the time, especially because your opponent's gonna quest or attack or just exert one of their important cards. Just because you have nothing on the field, they're like, oh, it's safe, I can exert it, I can do something with the card. And then Maui just comes in, blows it up, and then you've just got complete board control from that point on. And then we've got Dragonfire and Be Prepared, two staple standard Ruby cards. Both are just fantastic at controlling the board. Dragonfire obviously just banishes a chosen character, great for getting rid of big targets, or even just annoying targets. And then Be Prepared is great because it's a song as well. Just to clear on the whole board, giving you just a fresh slate, and you can start fresh. And you can sing it as well, which there's a lot of 7-cost characters in this deck, so it's great for that. Then we've got Dr. Felicia, just a beast of a recursion engine. Quest is free. Basically, just every time a character is banished, you can just return it to your hand, which is great for the late game. Makes you never run out of things to do, especially with a huge hand size that you should have. Yeah. This is the deck list I've come up with. I'm obviously not going to say this is the best deck list. Still 2 weeks till the game comes out. So this is just my take on the deck. There's 18 uninkables in this list, which maybe you want to cut down. But with Control, you kind of want to have a lot of techie options. So for that reason, kind of added a lot of that. I'll go over it now. So we've got 3 2-cost Dr. Felicias, 2-4 stat line when it's challenging, which is super good. You basically just want a lot of early stats, and can also shift into the bigger one later on. Just a solid turn 2 play. We've gone for Donald Duck over the Aladdin, just like the stats more basically. Gaston, we spoke about 2 of those. We don't want to have it too much, but we still like having the option for it. Then we've got 4 Elsas. This card is fantastic at just clearing the board, because you can exhaust someone's character if they're playing safe, and then Gaston can come in and just wipe it out. And it can also shift into the bigger Elsa. 4 Maleficents, just card draw is fantastic. We've got 2 Rafikis, Rush keyword is fantastic. Unfortunately unequal, but that's fine. We've got 3 Jafars. I think this is better than the other Jafar. I think the other Jafar is a 5-5. No, it's a 3-5 I think, or something like that. I think this one's better because late game you're going to have so many cards in your hand. It's just going to be an 8-5 for 4, and it can quest for 2, which is fantastic. And then we've got 4 Queens. Just like I say, being able to draw cards in this game is just great. 3 Maui, spoke about it. I think Maui might be one of the best cards in the game, honestly. Definitely one of the best cards that Red has got. And then we've got 2 Felicias, spoke about that. Great recursion engine, and can shift, so you can play it on turn 5 really. Not sure if you want to play it on turn 5, but the option is there. 2 Ursulas, I'm maybe not sold on this card just yet. It's quite weak and it's uninkable, so 2-8 stat line and it's uninkable again. It's not great. Might be worth cutting for a different card, but I'm not sure what. I'm happy with its performance so far though, so that's fine. Then we've got 3 Aladdins. This one is inkable. Kind of does the same thing as Ursula, where it steals the lore from the opponent, allows you to make those comebacks in the games that you fall behind early, which is most of them. Then we've got 2 Elsas. This card's good just to like close out games. You can just basically stun 2 of your opponent's cards. They're just out the game for the next turn. Go from there. Then we've got 2 of the Brave Little Tailor Mickeys. Evasive late game is super annoying to get around if you're not playing against Ruby, because they can't Dragonfire it or just do any of that. So they're going to have to beat over it, and a lot of decks aren't really running Evasive at the moment, so you can get like a 4 quest in, and then an 8 quest, and that's 2 turns. The great thing with this deck, compared to like Sapphire Ramp, is that once it gets control of the board, it ends the game very quickly. Whereas with Sapphire Ramp, you're kind of just like slowly building up your like lore one by one, and like spending a lot of turns to do that. Whereas with this deck, you've got like Ursula, Felicia, they're all questing for like 3 and 4. The game ends very quickly once you get control of it. 3 Maleficents allows you to keep board control once you've got it. It's a 9 cost, a bit expensive, but the ability is fantastic. 2 quests, and you can ink it early game. 4 Dragonfires, staple Ruby card. 4 Friends on the other side, just a great draw engine. And inkable, staple Amethyst card. 4 Be Prepared, don't need to talk about that card, you should know what it does by now. 3 Shield of Virtues, this card is another card that really surprised me. It's quite expensive, it's paying 3 to ready a chosen character, but it just allows you to protect your cards. So for example, like if you want a quest for like 3 with Felicia, you can just ready it again. Or later on, if you have like a baby Elsa, you can just exert, ready it, exert, ready, exert, and then just clear the board that way. And plus it's inkable. Might want to cut it down to 2, but I like having 3 because you see a lot more than you need. And then 3 Magic Mirrors, like I say, this card's fantastic later on. Not so good early and uninkable, but give it a go. I definitely think it's one of the most underused cards in the format so far. Not many combos in this deck. Like I say, I think all the cards in this deck are fantastic, so they all kind of work on their own. The 2 combos I've gone for are the Shield of Virtue and Elsa. Like I say, you can use Elsa, exert a chosen opposing character, then use Shield of Virtue, ready it, and then exert a chosen character again. So it's great for that. Or you can like exert and then quest, or exert and then attack. And then we've got Aladdin and Ursula, both of them together can just steal lore. Well, Aladdin steals lore and then Ursula steals lore and lets you draw a card. Both quest for a lot, but they are quite expensive. For the mulligan, you kind of want to have like an early drop, so I'm thinking like Donald, Gaston, and you also want to find some form of card draw. So I put Friends on the other side here. This could also be like the Queen, for example, but I do think Friends is the best one in the deck, just because you can sing it, and it's just cheap and inkable. So these are the matchups I've gone for. As you can see, it's got a very good matchup spread. The only unfavourable matchup is Emerald, and I think that's just because Emerald's so aggressive, it can end game so quickly that you don't really get a chance to do much, but that's kind of just how aggro works. But I wouldn't say it's totally unfavourable. I was close to putting it in even, but I thought the deck definitely does lose to Emerald, so I put it unfavourable. I'd say it's even against Amber. Amber's got a lot of card draw as well, and it can be quite aggressive early, so it kind of just depends who does their game plan a little bit better. And then in favourable, I've got Sapphire. Sapphire kind of wants to like ramp up, and by the time they've ramped up, you should already have complete control of the board and just win the game through that. Then I've got Amethyst in favourable as well. Basically, Amethyst is trying to draw cards. If they're not playing Amethyst Ruby, you should have like a good matchup advantage, unless they're playing like Amethyst Amber, in which case they're playing quite aggressive, but by that point you just need to play like 1 Be Prepared and then just win the game through that. And then I put Ruby in favourable just because you can kind of do everything that a standard Ruby deck can do, but also better. You should have a much bigger hand than Ruby decks, and you have all the same tools that they do. And then very favourable, I've put Steel. Steel has like a very mid-range playstyle where they're like clearing the board, playing a lot of units, but you can just do that way better than they can. And their only option of card draw discards the whole hand, and also gives you the same amount of card draw. So I feel like you should be beating Steel a lot of the time. So that's it for the deck breakdown. We're going to head into like 3 games now, see how the deck does. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments. Other than that, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and see you in a sec. Okay, so game 1 going first here. It looks like our mulligan's quite good, or our starting hand's quite good. We're definitely gonna mulligan this Maleficent. This Jafar's kind of a lot better late game. It's fine early game, but late game it definitely is way better. So we'll get rid of both of those. We'll keep the Rafiki, we'll keep a Donald, and we'll keep a Maleficent and Queen. It gives us options. So if we're safe on turn 3, we can just play Maleficent for card draw. Whereas if they have a strong board, we can just Rafiki it. And Rush is so good with that just surprise factor. We can ink one of these Maleficents as well. That would be fine. And then pass. There's a lot of talk about going first or second in this game. Obviously there's not really a lot to go off of. But I think with Amethyst you don't mind if you go first or second, just because in card games getting the extra draw is really good. But with Amethyst you have so much card draw that it doesn't really matter if you go first. So we're definitely going to ink this Mickey that we've just got off the top deck. And then I'll play the Donald. I like the constant attack stat better than the challenger attack stat, especially just against a non-threatening one too. Gonna play a Goons 2/2. You don't see that card often. I don't think it's too good. I'll ink this Felicia, I think. And then we can get card draw off this Maleficent. Draw a big Maleficent, that's fine. We just want to have ball control early game, get to our late game, get all our card draw, and then just win the game through big units basically. Seems like we've got quite a good start, to be fair. They're playing Sapphire Steel, so it might be an aerial combo. It's difficult to say. If they quest with Goons, I'm just going to play Rafiki, because that gives us 3 units still alive. A lot more pressure. Yeah, so I can play this Rafiki, kill this. It was bad ordering. I should have played Friends on the Other Side first, which is, great thing about Friends on the Other Side is that you can sing, which we can just do with Maleficent. Draw 2, and then we can quest with Donald for 1. And then we can ink this big Maleficent, it's totally fine. And then next time we can get our Queen going. Queen can just start drawing us cards. Ink a Merlin. I think that's the first time I've actually played against that card. Support seems like a under-supported keyword, I'd say. So they're definitely trying to ramp up to something big. I think the biggest thing that Sapphire's got, which is a threat, is probably just Hades, to be honest. Okay, cool. So we can ink this Aladdin, and then we can play Queen. Next turn, that would be giving us a card draw every single turn. I don't mind trading this Rafiki into the Mickey. They have 1 card in hand. And then we can sing again with Maleficent to draw 2 more cards. And then I'll quest with the Donald. So as you can see, you're already seeing the power of just like the constant card draw and like board presence we have. We've got a stronger board than they do and more cards in hand. Sure, they do have 2 more ink, but if they haven't got any cards, then what's the ink really doing? They're just going to play a big Tink, that's fine for me. It might be worth not questing next turn, just to not let them get the value off of the big Tink. But that means that we're also going to be able to draw a card off of Queen, which I think I'm fine with. Oh, well, that's a shield. It's great for us. So we'll play that. Might not ink anything this turn, to be honest. But I am going to draw a card. And then we can just use Shield of Virtue and ready that back up. It can't quest, but that's fine. We could draw another card if we'd like. But I don't think we'll do that. We'll just ink this Felicia and pass. Should have played the mirror, my bad, didn't see that. Getting mirror set up early is really important as well, because it's just, you can just leave it there basically, and then it will get value eventually. And a whole new world, which means we just lost that mirror. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. But 2 Dragonfires, a Maui, and another mirror, that's great for us. We can just use Maui to kill this Tink, and then Maui will still survive with 1 health. Obviously, that's if they do decide to quest. But we're looking quite strong here. There's an Aurora. Only a 2-2, but it is important to keep in mind that it can shift into, I think it's a 4-5 stat line. They're definitely ramping up. I wonder if they're playing like a Bell-centric deck. So I'm gonna ink this Gaston. That gives us 7, so we can... I think just Dragonfire this Tink is fine. And then I will play the Mirror that I forgot to play last time. And then I will just quest. Quest a 2. I'll say it's a solid turn. That's the great thing about this deck as well. You don't really need to do much to have a good turn. It just kind of has such good cards in it. Does an Eye of Fates. Does a big Simba. Just ramping up. They've only got 1 card left in hand. I do wonder if it's another Whole New World. If it's not, it's a Beast Mirror. It's fine for us. Free. It's totally fine with me. I'm just gonna trade my Donald with the Aurora. It's totally fine. Can ink this Gaston. Don't really need it. And then we'll play Jafar. And then there's the power of Magic Mirror. See, we've got four lore to play with still. But we're just gonna draw a card, which is great. Also buffs the Jafar. And then I am just gonna leave that there. Gonna develop, hopefully they don't develop into a Whole New World. Next time we can just Dragonfire the Simba. Oh, there's the Bell. We're definitely gonna Dragonfire that instead. Beast Mirror lets them draw 1. Hopefully they quest with Simba and then we can Maui. So we can use Jafar to just kill the Simba, just because it's got so much attack power there. And then we can Dragonfire the Bell. Then I'm fine with inking a Maui here. And then we can... Let's say I'm fine to just start questing here, and then I can just play this with Maleficent to draw a card rather than playing the Magic Mirror. We've got quite a strong hand, so next time we can either use Maleficent to kill something if they play something big, or we can Aladdin just to get stats and just fret. Just use the threat of stealing lore, which is quite big. And we've also got the Maui if we need to do something urgently. So many options. And even if we didn't have the option in hand, we still have the option to draw like 3 more cards. So we're definitely in the power position with this. Play Hades, it's fine. Get rid of our Queen, which isn't even our biggest card. Gonna kill their own Mickey. Which makes me think they might have a big Tink in hand. Definitely Maleficent in this Hades, just get our board control back. I'm not going to ink anything, there's no real need to. And then I will just quest for free. Looks like they're really going to hunt for some card draw here. Which I'm not even opposed to, because if they do play Whole New World, we buff up our Jafar and we can also just find more options. Because it's not even like any of these cards in the hand currently are too good. Lots of Simbas, it's not like you really see. The Simba cards are okay, but they're not like fantastic. What's the best play here, do we think? I think just play an Aladdin. Yeah, just keep pushing towards victory, I think. And then we can even Shield of Virtue just to protect the Maleficent, or is it worth protecting? Yeah, to protect Maleficent, I think. That way they can't kill it. Another Simba, and another Mufasa. So lots of Lion King cards there. They are threatening to quest for 7 next time, which is quite scary. I guess 8 if you include the Eye of Fates. So hopefully we draw like another Dragonfire, which I think is unlikely, or even a Be Prepared would be fine. So we can quest for everything and then sing it and then just play something big. So making a quest for free. So Jafar's at 5. Using Magic Mirror to draw 1, that's fantastic, that's exactly what we want. So Jafar can trade into the Simba, which is fine because I had 1 health left. And then we can just Dragonfire this Mufasa. And leave that there, and then we can just... Yeah, so this only has 3 attacks, so we can just quest with everything. And that puts us to 18, which means they need to have a really big answer to stop us winning next time. Yeah, so that's a dead card. You get to draw off the Beast Mirror. As you can see, the Magic Mirror is just better than the Beast Mirror. You can't ink it, which is fine. But Magic Mirror you can play, even if you have like 100 cards in your hand, you could draw another card. Whereas Beast Mirror requires you to have an empty hand, which, if you have an empty hand, you're not really in a good spot anyway. So it's unlikely that the 1 extra card is going to help too much. Sure, they can fire cannons on the Maleficent, it's not going to do much. We can just quest for the Aladdin, and that will be game. So they're just clicking buttons now. There we go. Even if we didn't have game this time, we still had a lot of options in our hand and a lot of card draw. So that was a textbook game. I think we had board control from the very start and we managed to squeak out a victory. So yeah. Okay, so game 2, we had a strong game 1. Quite a strong starting hand again. I'm going to keep Felicia and Rafiki. Rafiki's just such a great card. I'm going to keep the Magic Mirrors just because I feel like they're a lot better late game. Might be worth keeping a Maui or a Dragonfire, but sure, I'll keep a Maui and I'll get rid of this Felicia. You can shift it on turn 5, but I feel like we won't really need to do that a lot of games. So I'm happy with this. Mickey is great to draw early because you can just ink it, and also Shield of Virtue is great for turn 1 just because you can play it and then it's there for the rest of the game. You haven't got to worry too much about it. And not many people are playing the like Banish item card, so it should be fine to stick there for the whole game. We've had a lot of games with this deck where people have conceded super early, so I've played like 5 games now, and the opponents just conceded as soon as I've got ball control. Obviously I don't want to put those in because they're very short and you don't really get much out of it, but I just feel like this deck's got such a strong, every stage of the game, it's got such a strong everything. Definitely being slept on. I feel like within the next 2 weeks as the game releases and obviously Gen Con's been and everyone's picking up and playing with the cards, I feel like this deck will definitely get a lot better. Or maybe someone will discover something else, which is a possibility of course. Interesting, I'm gonna ink this Aladdin here. And then what I can do is I can quest, and then you should have virtued already yet. And then it's safe from the Gaston, and the Gaston can't quest for anything, so that's fine. There's a Maleficent. Looks like they're playing a similar style of deck, so it's been an interesting mirror match, which expect to see a lot of in the coming like weeks, if this deck is as good as I think it is. So we'll ink this Felicia, and then we'll do the same thing of just questing and readying it again with the shield. Keeps it nice and protected. And then we have a lot of rush cards in hand, so if they do quest with the Maleficent, we can just Rafiki. They're going to friends on the other side, they have a massive hand right now. Same Maleficent to draw a card. We got our own friends on the other side, which is fantastic. We can ink this turn. What do we want to ink? I think we can ink this Maui just because we have Rafiki for the rush. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I'll give it a go anyway. And I'm not going to quest this turn, I just want to keep this board that I've got just until I can get to my bigger stuff. They play their own Rafiki. Which is interesting because now I don't really want to do much with the Maleficent. I was originally going to sing Friends on the Other Side, but I feel like I will just... I'll just play this Queen, and then ink a Queen, I think. And then next time what we can do is we can draw a card with Queen, and then ready it, and then play Friends on the Other Side if we don't get anything good, and then we draw 3 cards, which gives us a lot more options, and a lot more inkable cards. We then Dragonfire Queen, which is fine. 5 ink for 5 ink's fine, and I'm using their resources up. I did ink a Queen, which is a slight problem, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, great, so we can shift here into a bigger Felicia. Which I think I might do. Thinking if I want to draw cards just yet. I actually think I prefer card draw here. Do we want to sing it? So we can sing it and then shift. Yeah, sure. So we'll sing it. And then we'll ink this Mickey. And then we'll shift. And then we can play this mirror. And then if they kill the Maleficent, it advances back to hand, which would be super good, and then that gives us another card draw and damages their board. And the Gaston has to because it has Reckless as well, which I just realised, which will be a great trade. They probably will just trade the Rafiki with it though, which is fine. Hoping that this sticks and they don't play anything crazy. Second Dragonfire on the Felicia is really not good for us. Yeah, there's the Rafiki attack. You can just use Magic Mirror though, which is the great utility of it. And they haven't got much threat for like questing on the board, so we're okay there. Even a Be Prepared at this stage would be great. Yeah, I'm definitely the Magic Mirror. And then I will play Rafiki to go into this Maleficent. Rafiki does survive. And then I'm not going to ink this Elsa just yet. I feel like we're at 7 ink is fine. The only thing that's more than 7 I think is the 9-cost Maleficent, which if we draw is like not a problem. So there's the Gaston trade. Questing for 1. Super tight game here. I feel like just need some card draw and then we can start the ramping. Start turning up the pressure a bit. Gonna Dragonfire this Aladdin definitely. Then can ink this Jafar. Do you want to ink the Jafar? Yeah, our hand size is tiny, so we're gonna ink the Jafar just to play Elsa, just to get something on the board. We still have Dragonfire in hand, so hopefully they play something quite big. Ursulus Cauldron. This card's interesting. It's good at like making you get consistent draws, but I feel like Magic Mirror is just better. They both are 2-cost uninkable, so I think that's kind of like the argument. You can play like maybe like 2 of each is fine, but I think Magic Mirror is the better one. Okay, great. So we get a big Dr. Felicia again, so we can play that, and then we can just trade this Elsa into the Rafiki and get the Elsa back to hand. This Felicia card is fantastic. If you have like board control and you play Felicia, it is so good at just like allowing you not to throw, because the game's quite swingy. The Felicia just allows the swing to stay in your favor. Obviously they can like target it with like Dragonfire and stuff like that, which is like a slight problem, but it's fine, because then they're spending a 5-cost and killing this rather than something else. Or you know, they can Maleficent it, which is the problem too, but it's fine. We have Dragonfire in hand for that. And then we can just play this Elsa too, which is fine, because playing something that is quite cheap in this scenario is good, because it requires them to spend more ink to get rid of it. Obviously it's not posing too much of a threat now, but if it shifts, then it does become a massive problem for the opponent. This is totally fine for us as well, so we can Shield of Virtue this to ready. I'm pretty sure that works. Yeah, it does. And then we can just Magic Mirror to draw a card, and that works for me, and I'll just pass. That just saves our Elsa. They are going to quest for free, which is quite scary. But hopefully we can find a Be Prepared or something similar to just save the game. We are definitely on the back foot at the moment. We could even just shift into this Elsa. I feel like I'll wait for them to play a second card to do that, and then the surprise 4 damage would be great as well. I think I want to play Queen or Aladdin here. I think Queen might be better. Yeah, so I can play Queen, and then I can quest, and then I can just ready it with the shield. It works for me. That's why shield is so good at just protecting your units. It does seem quite expensive, free ink every time, but when you've got like cards like this in this style of deck, free is like you're wasting that anyway at the end of these times, and you're losing a unit. So hopefully they play another big card here, and then we can Elsa it, and then that gives us a lot of tempo to play with. It might not even be worth shifting, it might be worth just playing the card outright. Okay, there's enough to kill the Queen. Fine with me. I'm gonna adjust. I'm gonna ink an Aladdin here, and then I am gonna shift actually. And then keep these two down, and then I'm gonna quest, and then play around a Maui, and just readying it again. We can't quest again, which is fine. If we could, that would be fantastic. But we can't, so it is what it is. Honestly, hoping for a Be Prepared, we can just quest for free and then reset the board. They're going to Be Prepared for us, which is great. And a pass from them, that's fantastic. Okay, cool, so I'm just going to play this Ursula. Allows us to draw a card. and they lose a law, which is fantastic. I'm gonna ink this Aladdin just so I can play friends and draw 2. Just need to see some more cards here. Yeah, another shield and another mirror. We're definitely gonna ink the shield. We're definitely gonna ink 2. If they play something big, we can Maleficent it, and then we're definitely just right back in front. Shows the capability of this deck. You can come back from really bad situations. Just because of the amount of like card draw and protection you have, the shield is so strong. And he plays Maleficent, great for us, we're just going to Maleficent and then Maleficent, which is how a lot of Ruby Mirror matches go. So there's that. I'm going to ink this shield to play another mirror. Now once you get more than one mirrors going, you'll suddenly realise how good the card is. Because say we don't get anything that we necessarily want to play, just drawing 2 cards is great, right? You don't need to do more than that. There's the Mickey, kind of hoping for a Dragonfire. There's a Donald. There's a Friends. Gonna play another mirror quest. If they trade into the Maleficent, that's fine for us as well. If they quest, then we're just gonna use the mirrors to dig deep. See if we can find Dragonfire. How many have we used? Which is 1, 2. So we've definitely got 2 more in deck, which will be fine. And we're just not playing too many threats. There's Mari, which is a massive issue for us. It's fine. Even if Be Prepared would work too, we've got 4 of those, so there's a high likelihood that we will find one of those cards. There's Maleficent. Can't play it because we don't have enough room. There's a shield, we'll definitely ink that. We'll just play 2 Donalds. So then, if they quest with Maleficent, we can just Donald into it, and then we can Maleficent on the Mickey. This is a tricky situation though, especially if they play something big here. Which I'm hoping they don't play a unit. They do. So we're just hunting for a Dragonfire here. We'll ink this Elsa. To play this Maleficent to get rid of this. It doesn't look like we can do much actually. Yep. As you can see, it was a close game. We did just lose the races. I feel like they got to their stronger cards a lot quicker. If fine, it happens. That's the mirror match. Let's move on to the final game. Okay, 3rd and final game. Going first again here. Let's see what we can do. We definitely want to get rid of the Maleficent. We'll keep the Donald. We'll get rid of this Elsa, even though we do have the option to shift. Actually, I might keep it. Get rid of this Ursula. And get rid of 1 Friends. There's an argument to get rid of this Elsa, but I just want to try it. It might be better than we think. So I'll ink this Donald. Don't need 2 of them, especially if we've got a lot of free drops in hand. It's not like we're going to be playing 1 on turn 3. Gonna ink a Maleficent there, so we know we're playing against Ruby. We'll ink our own Maleficent actually. Then play Donald just for the stats and the board presence. And then this Maleficent is so good. It doesn't have the best stats or quest, but just the fact you can draw a card and then sing Friends, it's like you're paying free cost for free draw, which is fantastic. What do we want to ink? We can ink Friends, I think fine. Or we can ink the Elsa. I think inking the Elsa is better, to be honest. Just because the opponent's not really doing much. We can Maleficent to draw a card. Dragonfire, which is great. We saw they inked a Moana, so we know they're playing Amber Ruby. Which I'm not sure if there's any Amber Ruby decks that I've seen. But the Moana tells us that they're playing some kind of like princess package. This is great. They haven't really done much, so we can just Friends We don't want to sing it, it becomes standard. And then we can ink this Donald, which is great. We have fantastic hand size, a lot of uninkable cards, which is an issue, but that's fine. And then we'll pass for 2. Great start here. If they do play something scary, we can Maui it. Inking a Stitch. That card's a lot better than people give it credit for, I think. Okay, cool. So they play Cinderella, which is great. 2 Maui, so we'll ink a Maui. And then we can just Dragonfire if we want. Or we can play a Maui. I think I'll actually just Friends and pass. Reason being, Ruby and Amber don't have cards that like disrupt your hand too much. And then if they quest with the Cinderella, we can just use a surprise Maui. Three Dragonfires in hand. We have a lot of answers here. Play Bodyguard Goofy. We can get around that with May, which I think we will do. Sure, why not? We'll do that. We'll ink this Elsa, I think. And then we'll pass again. We do want to quest, but we don't want to quest so much that our opponent gets ahead because of it. We basically got our opponent in a situation here where if they quest with Cinderella, Maya will just kill it. Whereas if we quest with Maleficent and Donald Duck, then yeah, so there's the answer for Maya which they needed. But if we quested with one of these, then we're in a really bad state. Whereas if they quest with Cinderella now, we can just Maleficent and then Rafiki, just abusing the rush keyword so much with this deck, just for like that instant board control. And we also do have 3 Dragonfires, like I said before. Only 1 inkable card in hand. I think it should be fine, so we'll ink this Maleficent. And then we'll play a Queen, which I think should be fine. And we'll just pass. Playing the game really slowly, we don't mind the game slowing down until we get to that late game, because that's just what we want. As soon as we get to that stage, we should win. And like I said, if they quest with this or do anything with it to exert it, Rafiki will just come in, and this Maleficent will come in and just get rid of it. We just saw that they're playing elusives or evasives, so we should definitely save Dragonfires for that. There's a Moana, there's a Lilo, and then there's the quest with Cinderella. Oh, we top deck a Maui, which is great, so we'll just do that. And then we only see 2 attack on board, so we're free to quest with the Donald. And then I will actually draw a card with Queen. And then we're not going to ink that. Should we ink it? Yeah, I think inking is actually fine. So next time we can play Elsa. Could have played the Rafiki, but I think it's fine to just keep rush cards in hand for the surprise factor of it. So next time we can have a Dragonfire, something big that they play, or we have the Elsa, which is tempo. They've got no cards in hand, which is the advantage you get from playing Amethyst, is that you always have cards in hand. Gonna quest with the Lilo, no surprise there, and then quest with the Moana. So we can definitely ink this Donald. And then we'll put Maui into Moana. We'll use Donald to kill Lilo. Quest with Maleficent. Then do we want to quest with Queen or draw a card? I think we want to... Let's draw a card, see if we can get... Okay, another Dragonfire, that's not too good. And then I'm thinking here, do we want to use Elsa for tempo? I think we should just use Elsa for tempo. The ability is great at like buying your turn, but because we have 4 Dragonfires and a rush card in hand, we don't really need to do that. And we just want to accelerate the board state now. So now I don't mind using my cards for like lower value than they can get, just to get closer to my win con. So we'll use Magic Mirror, and at this point I don't mind Dragonfire and Cinderella. I have 3 more of them, which is fine by me. And then we can just quest everything. And Elsa can quest for free, which is great. We have 6 quests on board. Don't mind not drawing a card with Queen just to get closer to that win con. Maybe it's better to draw a card just because you only quest for 1. In like a tournament setting, it might be worth counting out your quest points to optimize if you get the card draw or not, but it's fine. See, they saved the evasive to use Dragonfire. Well, they just top decked it, but we can just Dragonfire that. It's not really a threat, but we'll do that anyway. Just because we have 4, so the more we use, the more likely they are to place like big stuff because they don't think we have them. There's a Rapunzel, which is fine. No card draw for that. Minor misplay by them, I'd say. Dragonfire the Pongo. And then we use the mirror to draw another card, which is an Ursula, which is fine. And then we'll just... Thought process here is if I draw a card, then that's great, I get a free card. But if I quest with it, then the Elsa alone can just quest. And that's it, a really quick win there, game 3. You just saw in the 3 games, we lost the mirror match, but we almost come back from it. So you saw how the mirror match worked. We had a slower paced game, and then we had the fast paced game. Had lots of concessions in between games, which I didn't show, but give the deck a go, see what you think. And if you have any deck suggestions, just be sure to leave them in the comments and I'll get around to it. But other than that, thanks for watching. Peace.